Okay, hello, Kirti.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, I'm so excited to talk about this. I really love these interview conversations because I'm just like, it's always so fun to celebrate people and to really kind of like, dive into your thoughts and what are some things that is coming up for you and how you've been feeling. So, a brief background. So, I've been working with Kirti for 3 months now, and I am really excited. Is there anything you want to introduce and let the people know about you?
Yeah, of course. So happy to introduce myself. I'm Kirti. I'm also a life coach. And last December, so like the past December, I made like two pretty major changes in my life. So one was, so I was working in the US in a corporate finance job. And so I left that. I left my corporate finance job. I went all in to my life coaching business. And then the second thing is I also like moved from the US back to my home country, India.
Yeah, those are
Yeah,
two giant moves for you.
for sure. Like the biggest two giant moves in my life so far, for sure.
Mm. Yeah, and what I'm curious about like what made you decide to say yes to working together? What was your thought
Yeah.
process and where were you at
Yeah.
when you decided to do
So something that I was just like wanting was just the support during these two like big changes in my life. So that was really important for me. Just I just wanted to feel like I was being supported, being like taken care of in that way as I was making these transitions. And then the second thing was I something that I remember like really talking about was like I was wanting to like feel that joy and that excitement when it came to my work again, right?
that?
Because that's how I kind of started. Like that's the reason why I decided to become a life coach was just finding it so joyful and exciting and like loving doing the work of helping people. And somewhere down the line, I lost that connection where it kind of became something like how I used to treat my like corporate job, which is like, gotta just do this, right? And the joy was missing. So that's something that was really important for me was to like get that back into my life and actually be like achieving the goals that I had for my business, but also be like having a really good time as I was doing so. So that's what really those two main factors, that's what really push me to be like, yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And how do you feel about that now?
I feel so good, like really good about it, really good about the
Yay!
decision. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think has changed for you?
Um, so I think so we worked on like a lot of different aspects
Mm,
together, but I think something that really changed for me is like um getting back into one was like leaning into the discomfort when it came to my business, like showing up more so online and all of that,
mm,
leaning into discomfort and being okay with feeling all that discomfort and
yeah.
uncomfortable emotions. And then the second piece of it was like changing those thought patterns in my mind again that were like keeping me from feeling that joy that I was wanting to feel,
Mm,
right? Where it was becoming this thing like, oh, I got to do this, I have to do this, like those kinds of thought patterns, and creating that desire for myself again. Like, I want to do this, I'm choosing to do this.
mm,
So those were like pretty major shifts for me.
yeah. It's so interesting how you mentioned that you want to feel joy in your business and just like in your everyday life, right? And then you were saying how actually what has helped is being here with the discomfort.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so crazy because it's like, it's ironic that, like, actually, the more uncomfortable you're able and willing to feel, there's also a very unique joy that comes with it. I think it's like the joy of like growth and evolving.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like, it's very different because I remember when back before like we started working together, I felt kind of stuck and I wasn't like feeling the discomfort of like really showing up online and all of that because I wasn't doing those things, but I was feeling the discomfort of being stuck. Right. So that was a different kind of discomfort. And the discomfort of like moving forward, like that is, in my opinion, a much more joyful discomfort. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like really leaning into that next layer of like true joy, right? Which is
Mhm.
like the joy in the discomfort, the joy in you showing up, the joy in you solving problems in your business. That's
Absolutely.
like that joy, and it doesn't always feel good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But it's also fun at the same time. Doesn't feel good, but it's also fun. It's like both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And I also love how you're mentioning about the other part of it, which is like because you were able to be here with the discomfort, it also opened up the door for you to feel more like positive joy, right?
Mhm.
Because it's like now you're just open to all of them, the whole spectrum of those
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah, I love that. It's like I like increased my capacity to like feel everything, right?
Mhm.
To feel the discomfort and also to like feel all the good things that I was wanting to feel.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Was there anything that surprised you about like about how you have changed or anything that surprised you during our time together?
Yeah, something that, so I think one of the main things that surprised me was like just how nice it is to be supported. Like I think that was it was because I
Mm.
feel like I know I could have kind of like tried to push myself and be like, I'm just gonna take care of this myself and all of that. But like allowing myself to be supportive and like supported and like being taken care of in like that coaching container. I'm surprised by just how good it felt, which is weird because I know I do this work, but like as the client, I was like, oh, this feels amazing.
Yeah.
So I love that. That was something that was actually surprising to me. And something else was like, I thought to be able to like create the results that I was wanting in my business, like I'm gonna have to be like working super hard, like going all at it. And something that was surprising to me was like I actually created like results in my business, like major results in my business last month. And it's not like I was working super hard or anything. Like it's not like I wasn't doing anything, but it wasn't what I thought I would be doing, which is like working hard. It was like working, but like from a place of like just feeling good about the work that I was doing versus like hustling and like let me go all in and try to do all of these things. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. How does that feel to just like be in this place where you're just working? Because what you're saying is really just like from working from the right energy, right? And the
Mhm.
feeling the right things instead of like always just doing more and focusing on doing more
Yeah.
and doing a
It
lot.
feels really great. It just like it's like it really blows my mind because like I was always used to like hustling, especially from like the kind of background and upbringing on all of that, very used to being hustling and like taking lots of action, doing all the things. And now it's like it's a huge shift because I'm like, wow, like I can actually achieve what I want and not feel absolutely exhausted and tired. Like it's a really incredible shift for sure. And it helps me feel like, oh, like even more is possible for me, and I don't necessarily have to be like doing more things for that to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would even argue that like it's almost like what has helped you before was like hustling to create your results, right? And
Mhm.
now it's like to create even the right kind of results for you or like even more
Mhm.
results. Now almost what it sounds like as the next stage for you is to create them in a way like how you're feeling right now, right?
Yeah.
Create them through flow, create them through ease. And this is what I think a lot of people are watching and listening. They'll be like, wait, what? Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, did you know you can actually create more results with less through less time? Create more
Yeah.
results and better results by taking less actions.
Yeah. It's true. It's wild to me, but it's actually true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yay! Oh my gosh. I'm so
I
happy
know.
for you.
Super exciting. I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I love this next question. And like
Mhm.
it's like, what are you the most proud of? What are you proud of about what you have created for yourself?
What am I most proud of? I think I am like just, I think it's like a very more so speaking generally, like I'm just so proud of like the internal shifts that I made. I thought it was going to be super difficult for me to get that thing that was super important to me was like feeling good in the process, right?
Mm.
Not just being like focused on like, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, and being like, oh, when I get there, then I'll feel much better than I do now. But it's like, no, I'm already feeling good about my business. I'm already feeling like, oh, I'm successful already, right? Like, and that's what's like driving me to create even more of that when it comes to
Yeah.
my work. So yeah, like that's the groundbreaking thing. It sounds super simple to say, but like feeling good in the process to achieving what you want to be achieving is like a game changer for your life. Like that's what it has felt like for me. So I'm super proud of that. Like not just the external results, but like the internal shifts that I've made to be able to create this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Notice how, oh my gosh, it's like you hit the gold mine, right?
Yeah.
This is the like if you think about the secret to really creating that successful life, like you're living in it right now.
Yeah.
Right? So
Right.
many, yeah, so many of us, we hustle all the way to success and then we keep on hitting the next thing, the next thing, the next thing until maybe one day we're finding like, okay, I'm good. And then now it's like, you're already good now.
Yeah, I love that. Really good now. Yeah. And I've been able to, something that I'm also proud of is like being able to better take care of myself, right? Like the past couple of days, I've been noticing like I felt kind of lower on my energy. And I was like, it's totally okay, right? I can take care of myself and I don't have to like push myself to like do all the things, right? I can create more rest for myself while also being committed to the things that I want to create in my life. So like
Yeah.
having more of that balance and having that care for myself is like I'm prioritizing that over like gotta achieve this or that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what creates
Yeah.
sustainable life, right? This
Mhm.
is what creates a sustainable business, a business and a life that's here to stay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I remember we also talked about was like kind of working on this tendency to be perfect.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right? Can you share with the people a little bit about that and how that process
Yes.
was like?
Absolutely. So this has been like, oh my God, it has set me free. Like I mean, it's amazing. Like I don't even, I'm like, I what do I say? But like it has made one of the biggest shifts in my life because I remember when we were like that was a session where we really focused on like I even like cried during that session because it was so deeply rooted for me and like a cause of suffering for me, right? Even in the past, like I would spend so much time, so much energy on trying to like get the one thing right? Feeling like if I want to have the life that I want, if I want to achieve my goals, then I have to do it perfectly, right? There isn't room for mistakes and there isn't room for messiness. And like you showed me like how me living in like the A plus, right, which is what I was trying to do, was it's like that error in my brain, which my brain was like, hey, living in the A plus is going to get you to where you want to be, but it's actually the opposite. It was preventing me from getting to where I wanted to be. And you showing me how like quality and like just living in that like B plus is what is actually the key to having what I want. Um, yeah, it was such a shift because like now before I used to spend like a lot of time if I would create something, I would spend so much time and energy on it. And now I'm like, no, 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 like I'm gonna make it B plus, right? And like get it out the door, get it out the door, do it more and more and more. And that is what is actually helping me become better at it and become more skilled at it versus spending all my time and energy trying to get the one thing.
Yeah, it's like writing
Yeah,
that one copy and then making it A plus
yeah,
instead of
yeah.
writing 10, just good enough, B plus,
Yeah, like
and
average,
that's okay.
whatever. It's like out the door. And that's what is helping me be more creative. Because, like, especially when we're in creative businesses, it's like perfection is like the killer of that, right? It's like it kills our creativity and like just getting stuff out the door, even when my brain is like, oh, that even when my brain is like, ah, that's not really good. I'm like, whatever, it's done. We're putting it out there. And like it helps me. That's something that has helped me reconnect with the joy, right? Because the perfectionism was killing my joy, killing my creativity, and living in the B plus is like inviting more of the joy, more of the creativity in. It's
Yeah.
such a like I can't say because it really changed me so much because in the past, even in college, like even when it was so deeply ingrained in me that like even for essays that I would write, like I would spend so much time and it would cause me so much suffering where I would like cry about those things. So I don't know if other people can relate, but I was very much on the like end of that spectrum, whereas like where perfectionism was like really hurting me. So it's like a huge shift and I'm so grateful for that. It's changed everything for me for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's also like because I feel like I used to be a super perfectionistic person as well. And then it's kind of like at the end of all of this, like the reason why we're trying to be perfect, it's almost like when we're not perfect, then we freak out, right? We're like, what does that mean
Mhm.
about me? Now that I'm not
Mhm.
perfect, like suddenly I'm not good enough anymore, right? I don't have any value to give because I'm not perfect. And
Mhm.
I like feel like the work that we really did together is really helping you peel off the layers to see that you don't have to try and you're already super amazing, right? You don't even need to try to like be amazing, to be perfect, to be like super incredible, because you don't need to be perfect. Like who you are right
Mhm.
now, you have so much to give, right?
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
already like worthy, deserving, and you already get to have everything that you want. And people just loves you
Mhm.
for being you. You don't need to try.
Yeah, I love that. It's like helping me like help me like believe in my own value without what the things that I was doing, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm valuable, so like anything, any words I write, it's like that's valuable by default.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You can post your face online and people will love it. You'll be like, oh
yeah,
my God, Cuddy.
yeah, love that. Mhm.
The other thing we also talked about is like setting boundaries,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And yeah, do you want to give some context about that?
Yeah, of course. So that really helped me when it comes to my personal life. And because like theoretically, I knew what setting boundaries means, right? I'm like, oh, intellectually, I get this, but what I was really struggling with was like the implementation part of it. And
Mm,
it was because I was very concerned with other people's feelings, thoughts and feelings about me setting that boundary. And you really helped me like bring it to my notice that like, hey, as like people from these marginalized identities, we are like, it's like embedded in us to really prioritize other people's feelings above our own, to really care about how they're feeling and to like really make an effort so that they don't feel any sort of uncomfortable emotion ever. And I was like, and that really changed the game for me because I was like, okay, I know that I am setting these boundaries like out of love for myself, the relationship, the other person involved. So it's not like I was doing it out of hate or any of that. It was out of love and letting it be okay if they do happen to have negative thoughts and feelings about it. And me doing so was actually me believing in their own strength to experience discomfort, right? Instead of being like, oh, I don't want them to feel bad because I'm seeing them like unconscious, like subconsciously in like, oh, they're kind of weak, right? They're fragile. They can't be feeling these negative emotions, right? And like, you help me shift to like, believe in their strength that like hey they're strong enough to feel an uncomfortable emotion, and that's really the worst thing that could happen, right? In this sort of context is they have thoughts that don't feel good and emotions that don't feel good to them, and I'm like okay, I'm believing that they're strong enough to be experiencing that. And it help me feel like set those boundaries from like a loving place and from a place of seeing them as like a powerful being, like equal
mhm.
to myself, as opposed to like oh they're weak, I gotta protect them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is so true. It's kind of like, um, in a way, it's like growing up, we were brainwashed into thinking that we need to be the
Mhm.
helper, right? And then from this
Mhm.
helper perspective, it's like, okay, that means I need to help people. People can't feel negative feelings. I have to try to
Yeah.
help them. And then when we
Yeah.
just let them be in their power, it also allows
Mhm.
us to be in our power, right? It's like
Mhm.
we're also strong enough to feel all the uncomfortable feelings.
Yeah, as I'm setting this boundary, absolutely. Yeah, and it's also coming from us believing that, like, oh, if someone feels an uncomfortable emotion, like that's a bad thing,
Mhm.
right? Where it's like, no, it's just a different emotion, not necessarily a bad thing. And I love how you also pointed out, like, they also get to experience having someone setting that boundary, and it gives them more space to be like, oh, maybe this is something that I would want to do for myself, right? Maybe this is something that I can do for myself. So yeah, really helpful.
Yeah, yeah, it's always from this place of like you start first, right? And
Mhm.
then you create these ripple effects towards other people around you. But in the beginning, they're going to feel weird. They're going to feel
Yeah.
like, what's
Yeah.
happening? Why is she not doing everything I want her to do all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was, yeah, it's like I thought that like, oh, okay, if I just do everything that they're wanting, then it's somehow going to help our relationship. But like it was the opposite because I was kind of going into like feeling resentful and feeling like, oh, like, so it was actually hurting our relationship when I wasn't implementing my boundaries, right? And when I'm implementing my boundaries, it creates more space for us to have the kind of relationship that I'm wanting, right? The positive, the healthy relationship. Yeah.
Yes, so good. So good.
Mhm.
Yay! Oh my gosh,
No,
celebrating you. And also,
exciting.
yeah, like you have grown and then created for yourself, right? Is there any other thing that you want to share? Any other takeaways or breakthroughs that you feel like we've had while working together?
Yeah. So something, yeah, for sure. So something that came to mind right away was like, you really helped me. And like, this is something that I like carry with me all the time, every day now. It's like always believing that it's working, right? Whenever my brain's going to like, it's not
Mhm.
working, like nothing's working in my business or all of that, like believing that like, no, 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 it's always working. As long as I'm like showing up, it's always working. And that's been a game changer for me because not only does it help me like it helps me keep my focus on the long term as opposed to being like got it like you gave me that metaphor of like planting seeds and be like gotta get my fruit right away, right? So it helps me be like no, 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 that's not realistic, that's not what's going to happen, right? I'm planting the seeds and like just letting myself receive the fruit when they're ready, right? And that's literally what's been happening in my business is right like when I stop being desperate for like the short-term results, like the
Mhm.
long-term results, they just like come in their own beautiful timing. So that's something that's been super helpful for me is like believing it's always working.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel when you're believing like it's always working? Like what energy are you in?
I'm very trusting. It helps me feel
Mm,
super trusting of like
yeah.
just, and I'm a spiritual person. So like trusting of the universe, trusting of my business, trusting of myself.
Mhm.
It's a great place to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that I love telling myself as well is like there's no rush,
Mhm.
right? There really is no rush. Like everything is happening in perfect timing. Everything is happening in divine timing. There's no
Yeah,
rush.
absolutely.
And feeling
Yeah,
that trusting energy that you are in. Oh, that feels amazing. Like
it
it's
does.
such
I
a
can feel
great
it right
place.
now as I'm talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, such a great place to like build your business from,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Instead of building business, feeling desperate, feeling urgent, feeling like I need this, I need the next,
Mhm.
you know, money, I need the clients, right? But really
Yeah.
like, no, it's always working. It is working. I'm planting seeds right now and the fruits are being collected in perfect timing.
Yeah. And like also like another major thing was like really stepping into feeling successful now, which
Mm,
is something that we really talked about because I was like, I used to like gotta prove myself to the people and got like all that all those kinds of thoughts. And I was like, you brought up like how I was totally ignoring all of the success that I have created, right? Both external and internal. And I'm just being like focused on that next thing to determine whether I'm successful or not.
mm,
And yeah, so now I'm like taking consideration of all of that, right? Like all of the results that I've created in my life, not just when it comes to my business, but like who I am as a person, right? My previous career and all of that, and be like, whoa, I'm actually super successful. Like I've always been a successful person. And that's not, again, it's not in terms of like just external, it's in terms of like how I've grown over the years, just as a person, becoming more aligned with my values, becoming a more like loving person. So it's like, yeah, both ways, just living in the success.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah,
So
super
good.
exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you feel right now about where you are at?
I feel really good. I feel really good. I feel excited. I feel like as we've been working together, like really been setting that like sustainable, beautiful foundation for my business. And it's been growing from there. So I feel really good. Yeah.
Hey, oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm so excited for you. Is there anything else that you want the people to know? Let's say if someone is thinking about working together, thinking about life coaching, what would you say to them?
The one major thing that I would say is like allow yourself to receive the support that you're wanting and needing, right? Because like we're so used to being in that individualized way of thinking of like have to figure this out myself, gotta do it myself. um so like yeah, allow yourself to receive help and support. And like from like the way that I think is like very spiritual, it's like when you open yourself up to receiving support, like you tell the universe that like, hey, I'm ready to receive the good things in my life, right? So like you're opening that portal, opening that gateway. Yeah, and like really believe that you, because we're very quick to be like, oh, okay, spending money, right? Let me like spend it on this like nice vacation for myself. And that's great, nothing wrong with that, right? But also believing that you like your emotional well-being, just how you feel on a day-to-day basis, like that is so worthy of your investment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so good. It's like we're always being taught, right? Like how to spend money, like through
Mhm.
advertisement, through all the
Mhm.
things, we're being taught to spend money on food, clothing, like all the external things. But
Yeah.
then I feel like there hasn't been much advertisement or marketing in terms of like, hey, did you know you can spend lots and lots of money on your emotional health and that's totally worth it. And you deserve
Mhm.
that. You get to spend money that way on yourself.
Yeah. Oh my God. I never see that unless like like when we got on that console, that's when I heard that. Other than that, never. Right. So like that's why it's normal if you're feeling like, oh, I don't know if it's worth it. Like that's just because we've been socialized to believe that like other things are more worth it than our own brain, which is like the most important in my opinion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to add is I was thinking about one of the books. Have you read this book? It's called The Soul of Money. It's
I've
so
heard of it, but I haven't read it yet.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in there, it's by what's her name? Thinking Twist. Yeah, and then she really talks about how um the best way that you can ever use your money, right? Because kind of like our money is our power. We can use
Mhm.
money in terms of however that we want, right? The best way you can ever use money, you can ever align, you won't feel icky about money, you won't feel weird about money, is to really allocate money towards your soul's deepest calling and your soul's deepest
Mhm.
commitments, right? And as long as you're always allocating money towards what it is that you really feel that you really value in your soul, right? Whether it is like in emotional, investing into yourself this way through coaching, or it's investing into yourself through other means, if it's always aligned to your soul's deepest commitment, then it's always going to feel right for you. And you're going to love money. You're going to love using money and love making money, love everything about money this way, because internally you're so aligned with how you're using your money.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. All
Mhm.
right, Curdy, you're amazing. I can't wait to see all the amazing things you're going to create for yourself and for your life and your business. This is like very, very exciting. This is just the beginning for you.
I know. It's super exciting.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
exciting. Um, where can people find you? Do you have any links or Instagram handle that people can check you out?
Yeah. So yeah, people can like follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is KirtiP. It's like KIRTI and then two more I's and then P. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, go follow her, go check her out, hire her. She's awesome. All right, thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Shirley. Thank you.